Hi everyone, it's Roger and James here from the What's on Disney Plus podcast. This is episode number 199, and in this episode, we're going to be talking all about all the animation news that came out of San Diego Comic-Con. We'll be talking about what's coming up on Disney Plus in the US in August. Plus, we'll be talking about some of this week's new releases. But before we go any further, a quick bit of housekeeping. If you haven't already done so, make sure you do subscribe here on YouTube. You can also subscribe on the audio platforms as well. Go check us out over at what's on at disneyplus.com. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, etc. Right, okay. So what we're going to do first off is we'll start off with the title of this episode, which is obviously what we're looking forward to watching in August. And we're going to roll through the list of things that have been announced for August for the US already. There's a couple of things in there that will tie into San Diego and stuff anyway. So let's jump into it. So the big one that was announced this week is on August the 3rd. We're going to be getting Lightyear. Will be dropping onto Disney Plus. Literally, I think it's like 46 days or something after theatrical release. So not long at all. A lot of people have been sort of shouting a little bit about that being like, oh, it's because it flopped. No, this is the same as Doctor Strange. This will be pretty much standard for most of their films going forward. But yeah, Lightyear drops in, and I'm really excited to see what happens with this movie once it kind of gets out and more people see it. I think it's going to pick up an audience with once people start seeing it and sort of realizing actually what this film's all about.
Yeah, it didn't feel like a Pixar film necessarily, which I think probably hurt its word of mouth at the box office. Like, oh, it's a sci-fi, whatever. Don't really need to. But now with it being available on Disney Plus, I think a lot more people are going to see it. Yeah, I expect it to probably be at the top of at least the Disney Plus charts for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a big one. But I'm just really excited to see this one kind of, like I said, getting out there to more people, to kind of maybe sway the idea that this isn't a bad movie. It's a fun, good movie. It's just a little bit misunderstood. I think the marketing was a little bit all over the place for it.
I was going to say, I think it was a victim of people not really knowing what the movie was, thinking it was still the toys. Maybe it'd be Andy in his bedroom, like swooshing ships around and something like that. But no, this is other than referencing some of the lines, with Buzz, saying the lines that are also from the movie. It's its own little thing, and I think that will help it.
Yeah, and I don't know as well as like a lot of people that didn't like the idea of it probably were never going to go watch it anyway. But it's definitely, I think it's going to be a big hit. I think coming right through sort of just onto Disney Plus. Also on the same day in the US, we'll be getting Alice Wonderland Bakery, some new episodes, and some new episodes of The Ghost and Molly McGee. Plus, making of Miss Marvel a brand new assembled episode. So I'll be honest, I'm quite a little bit more interested in this one because it looks like they had to make a lot more choices, not only where they were filming it, but with the special effects and stuff. It just looked a little like they had to do a little bit more work on this one.
It depends on how willing they are to talk about the choices they made, which is always the thing with the assembled. I want them to talk about the choices, but they end up talking about the technology or the actors going on about how happy they are to be on the project, which sometimes worked out. Because like the Shang-Chi making of, I thought worked really well because Simu was so enthusiastic about the role. It just kind of lead into this. And I think, I don't remember her name offhand, but the woman playing Kamala Khan, she is basically Kamala in real life. So there should be a lot of entertainment in seeing her talk about the character.
Yeah, that one should be good. So that one's always good. We're also going to be getting new episodes of High School Musical, the series, which will be coming every single Wednesday right through August. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit later on about the first two episodes because I have seen them. But just off the quick thing, those two episodes definitely felt like they were back on track again. It was a lot better than season 2. They've kind of embraced being outdoors a bit, less characters, but you can tell they've planned for it better this time. So yeah, generally, I really enjoyed those two episodes, but I'll just talk a little bit more about them later on. So have that one there. Then on Friday, August the 5th, and we're going to be getting the Lion King of 2019 version, and also the Lion King 2 Simba's Pride sing-along versions. So yesterday they dropped the Moana and the Little Mermaid version onto Disney Plus all over the place. So they got loads of these lined up. They got more of them coming in. It's like, I'm glad they're there, but it kind of feels a little bit like this is real cheap filler. This is like, it's like, I'm glad they're doing it. I'm glad it's going on there, but I feel a bit like, really, we're making a deal of this.
I mean, well, them making a deal of it probably is just because of the current lineup needing a little bit of spice. But honestly, the sing-alongs have always done really, really well. Because that's part of the appeal, especially as a young child, is singing along to your favorite songs. These days, it'd be, something like from Frozen or something along those lines. But yeah, it especially to adults, it's probably like, oh, okay, slow news week, moving right along. But I actually expect these will do relatively well.
Yeah. I know
Kids are going to be watching them.
I know the encounter. I think it's the thing, if we can just put on subtitles and you got it. It doesn't really, but it's maybe not as big.
They don't bounce, and they don't have a little musical note that tells you where you are in the song and all that stuff. It is as much visual as it is auditory, because especially for kids, that visual of flow of the music is part of the experience.
Yeah, I know some people have been a bit like, well, why are they listing it as separately? Because like here with Encanto, for example, you can see that they've got two versions. And I think a lot of it is just ease. I think it's just so people find it easier. I think, if you have to click on the item and then you have to go into the extras and then select another option, it's going to lose people. I think they just find it's just easier as a whole just to put it in, and it also clocks it. Because it's kind of weird, because in some ways I would imagine they wouldn't want to do that because it loses minutes watched and stuff. But I expect in the long run, it all nicely ties together. We're also getting Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation. So this one here will be arriving. The only place it won't be arriving is Australia and New Zealand. You'll be getting it in September because apparently you can't work out that it's summer for the rest. It's like really, Disney, you can't, you're gonna keep me. But I'm sure they can work it out.
At the very least, I'm glad that everywhere else is getting it at the same time, which is much better than America gets it this week, England and France get it that week, and Asia will get it this week. So Australia, I do feel bad, or Australia and New Zealand, I do feel bad for you guys not getting this. Hopefully, though, this is an indicator that we will get more and more global releases, and you guys will be included in the global releases as well.
It's a bit like Mike, for example, the new Mike Tyson series. It's coming to Disney Plus in Australia and Canada on the same day that Hulu gets it, but here in the UK we got to wait 3 weeks, so until September. So it's so annoying how they do that.
It does seem like the Hulu and Disney Star ones are worse at this than the Disney releases are at the moment. But yes, please, I recognize a lot of them have to do with regional contracts and distribution agreements, but please, we've been complaining about this literally since like the first Diz Kingdom podcast I was on, let alone what's on Disney Plus. Please, guys, just get it done.
Yeah, so moving on from there, on Wednesday, August the 10th, we'll be getting 25 new episodes of the third season of Bluey. Again, Australia, New Zealand. You guys aren't getting that one because they're on ABC down there. The Australian version of that, not the Disney version. Plus,
that one makes sense.
Also, this is one I'm interested in watching, is Running Wild with Bear Grylls, the challenge. So this is with celebrities. This kind of doing a bit of a weird one. It started already on National Geographic. They're getting a few episodes ahead. Then Disney Plus drops the whole season, and then National Geographic, and then they're still doing weekly afterwards. It's like a weird release schedule. But so if you like Bear Grylls, that's a good show for you to watch. We're also getting I Am Groot, the premiere. We're getting all 5 shorts. Now, yesterday at the animation panel, they did reveal the first trailer for this one here. So what did you think of that trailer?
Considering it's for shorts, it's very hard to judge. I don't know. It didn't grab me. Let's leave it at that. It did not grab me.
It looks a bit weird, doesn't it? It's a little bit weird. It's like little aliens and him wearing like a Christmas tree gown and all kinds. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm going in with this one as like, this is just gonna be stupid, and it's gonna be completely stupid, and don't take it seriously, and I mean, basically, anyone that didn't like Fall Love and Thunder will probably want one of these.
That's probably accurate, yeah.
Yeah, I think if you're after serious stuff, this is not for you. But I'm looking forward to it. Should be fun. Then on August the 12th, we're getting Disney Summer Magic Quest. So that one, it's a shame this one's taken so long because that came out on the Disney Channel back in June. You'd have thought they would have speeded that process up. And then also both Father of the Bride films will be arriving that day. I think this is good. I think this is a little step forward in terms of adding stuff on there. I think with all the success of Only Murders in the Building, which I think they should have put that on there, that would be a much bigger hit than now. But Father of the Bride, great movies, love them. I can't remember it was probably the 90s when I last watched them, but they're two really good family friendly films.
I know I've seen at least the first one, but I don't remember it at all. I don't think I've ever seen the second one. So I will probably set some time aside to watch these because they are considered, pretty classic movies.
I think I watched the first one when we were when I got engaged, and we were like going like like that kind of thing of like watching all married kind of stuff. So yeah, I have watched it at least. Well, that was like 13, 14 years ago. Then on Wednesday, August 17th, we're getting some new episodes of Meet Spidey and His Amazing Friends, plus the premiere episode of Marvel's She-Hulk. So I'm hoping we get another trailer later today at San Diego, and I'd be surprised if there wasn't. But yeah, She-Hulk just looks fun, looks good. Can't wait for that one.
Yeah, I'm very excited for the story on that one. I know there've been a lot of complaints about the CGI, the way she looks in when she's in She-Hulk form. I share many of those sentiments. It looks really weird. That said, the story looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm expecting some fun cameos in this one. We already know likely cameos, but I'm hoping.
Yeah, I think it kind of feels like this could be like a cameo of the week kind of show. Mm-hmm. It could have that kind of effect.
Depending on the direction they go with it, yeah, you could definitely have her doing a Law and Order and NCIS kind of thing every single week, and there's Daredevil, there's Spider-Man, there's etc. I don't actually think Spider-Man, but that would be fun.
I kind of would like them to kind of lean in more on the episodic where there's a thing of more of a closed story with a few little hints of and a story going right way through. So it feels more like you get a beginning and end. If they can work that out, it'll be a good way. Apparently at San Diego, they were handing out flyers for and if you rang the She-Hulk number, you get through like the voicemail, or they go, have you tried to save someone's life and you've been, hit with a lawsuit, call me. And it's like really great, fun marketing. Just something a bit fun with that one.
See, that's what I wish they had used damage control for instead, with something in this series rather than making them villains in Ms. Marvel. Yeah, as I said in our reviews of Ms. Marvel, I thought they were better villains than the I don't even remember the name of the other group anymore.
Yeah.
The people from
the Inhumans. I'm just calling them Inhumans.
Yeah, sure. We'll go Inhumans. Whereas in the comics, the Damage Control is like the humorous group that comes in and cleans up after superhero battles, and they're the ones who put your stuff back together. And that would have slotted in nicely with She-Hulk, kind of having them work, them doing their job of fixing things up, and She-Hulk in there going, yes, let's make sure that the right people get in trouble for this. You want to sue Dr. Doom? Okay, let's sue Dr. Doom. That kind of thing.
It could be a lot. It's looking like that's going to be a lot of fun. Then on Friday, August 19th, some sing-along versions of Beauty and the Beast films, along with Tangled. So that should be fun. Then on Wednesday, August 24th, we'll be getting season 8 of Blackish. Now, interesting enough, that just dropped onto Disney Plus here in the UK this week. It just started up on E4. So I watched the new episode on E4, and then the next day it was all added onto Disney Plus. So I've binged through like half the season already because I really like Blackish. So looking forward to watching this final season. So I'm currently enjoying that one. Some new episodes from Chibi Tiny Tales. There'll be some new episodes from season 2, plus second episode of She-Hulk. So we'll be getting new episodes of them throughout there's 3 episodes dropping throughout August. Friday, August 26th, Doc McStuffins. The Doc is in. Okay, it's an anniversary version of that one. And then finally, on Wednesday, August the 31st, we're getting America's National Park Season 1. Now, this is a brand new series. We don't really know too much more. I think Garth Brooks is narrating it. So hopefully we'll find out some more information at the upcoming... Probably the Critics Association is coming up at the end of the month. So it's all gone virtual now because of COVID. So... we'll hopefully be finding out some more of that. Season 2 of Europe from Above, and then also Secrets of the Zoo Down Under season 3. And the big one then is going to be 2 episodes of Andor, the brand new Star Wars series. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens with this one. I don't think we're going to see anything this weekend for that one there. But yeah, it's Star Wars, Andor, and we've got She-Hulk, and we've got Lightyear, and we've got a few other bits and pieces. Not too bad. It's not and I suspect they'll add a lot more because the list always just keeps growing right the way through the month. But yeah, for you, anything else that stands out?
Oh, skipping over Andor and She-Hulk, those are the obvious ones. That last one you mentioned with Garth Brooks, just to make sure, that's a National Geographic series, right?
Yeah.
That's not a Disney Nature or something. So that one's obviously on the list. I'm expecting some really nice photography from that. Hopefully not as much shifting between slow motion and fast motion like America the Beautiful had, but National Geographic's always is going to be something for me. Not super excited for it, but because there's not a lot coming out with the same week, I will check out the first episodes or two of High School, the musical, the series. I think I got nothing there.
It's a lot. It is fun. It's a fun series. Some other highlights coming from the other side. Unfortunately, normally we get sent like the UK list, and this week they sent it out, but they didn't actually include the big lists. So I don't think they weren't able to finalize stuff. So there's a lot of shows I'm looking forward to watching right through. Things like The Patient, which starts at the end of the month. We've also got Mike, which obviously in the UK has been pushed back a little bit into September. I'm hoping we get The Bear because there's a lot of talk about that show. But yeah, so there's a lot of great content coming up. And also we've got the new Welcome to Wrexham, which is the new FX series all about them. Ryan Reynolds buying a football club in Wales. So that could be. I think as a Ryan Reynolds, I'll give it a go. If it was anybody else, it's soccer, I couldn't care less. But Ryan Reynolds is enough to bring me in to at least be like, I'll check out an episode and give this one a little, because if he's funny in it, which I suspect he will be, that'll be what will draw me in.
It'll depend on what angle they take on it, but it's a one-off, right? It's not a season; it's just one single documentary. So that at least makes it easy.
It's a weekly series.
Oh, it is a series. Okay,
yeah.
So we'll at least give the first one a try.
Yeah. Also got Prey as well, dropping on the 5th of apparently that was shown off at San Diego Comic-Con last night, and a lot of good reviews coming out of that one. Like I think because it's stripped down to just basic fight between her and a predator with bows and arrows and sticks and axes and stuff. It's a much more hunter versus hunter film. So I'm looking forward to watching that one. That one should be. That's definitely was the one I remember from last year when they announced the 4 films that were definitely coming to Disney Plus and Hulu. The Prey was like, oh, I like that one. I'll give that one a go.
I've honestly been very ambivalent on it. Like the concept of a predator 300 or however many years ago, 400 years ago, really didn't appeal to me too much. But if it's well directed, well acted, well put together story, I'm definitely interested in seeing it, especially if it's going to be on Hulu and easily accessible. Good reviews are also always going to be a good indicator. But again, as with anything that you see this weekend for people seeing first showings and stuff, remember that the people who are there at San Diego watching them really want to be there because you kind of have to fight to get into the movie screenings. So I'm not saying that they're wrong. I'm just saying take these with a grain of salt and kind of get that word of mouth going closer to release.
Yeah.
But that said, yes, I am more interested in it than I was last year when I was like, oh, okay, sure, Predator with Native Americans. It sounds fine. Now the trailers make it look a lot better than I was originally picturing.
So there's a lot of speculation about Fall of Thunder because the 45 days, I believe, runs out like the end of August. My gut reaction is I think they're going to hold it till Disney Plus Day. That's my but they could drop it at the end of the month. They could, but with Andor and She-Hulk, where they want to give an extra week or two, maybe was it Labor Day weekend? What's that? Is it the first weekend of September? It's an American holiday, so I don't really know as much.
I have no idea. But honestly, Memorial Day and Labor Day, I only know when they occur because work sends out enjoy your Labor Day holiday and take a half day on Friday or things like that. Because
I know they're re-releasing Spider-Man. It's not Labor Day. Oh, in the UK. That's because it's in. I was going in May. That's not right. So it's the 5th of September. So I know they're re-releasing Spider-Man No Way Home with some extra footage, but it wouldn't surprise me if they held out another weekend to kind of get some stuff out. Yeah, so there we go. So that is what we're looking forward to so far from the US side of point of view. Right. So as I said, they do have a tendency to add stuff that we don't know about. And yesterday we had 3 major releases on Disney Plus in the United States. We had Deadpool, Deadpool 2, and Logan. They only announced this on Thursday. And this led to a lot of excitement because this is the first rated R film to be added onto Disney Plus in the United States. Now, obviously, as an international fan, we've had access to Deadpool and Logan for nearly 18 months, 2 years. There's so many comments from international people going, "What? Why are you guys still not getting it?" Because it was like, I think so many like, well, we've had it for so long, it's not even expect. But this was a big announcement. It has led to a lot of speculation online that Deadpool 3 is going to be officially kind of revealed at San Diego Comic-Con event later today. I think that's very easy to see why those two put 2 and 2 together. I think it was a great marketing idea of dropping it right on San Diego Comic-Con for the weekend for people at home. And also didn't really give anyone time to react to it. It was like, here it is, it's coming tomorrow, bang. So I suspect there was a lot of people that opened up Disney Plus on Friday morning and go, Deadpool? But this really opens the door up now for mature content on Disney Plus. Everything is in Deadpool. I don't really put Logan on the same because Logan is an amazing movie. It's more violent and it's obviously got but Deadpool hits on so many different levels that really pushes those boundaries more and more, doesn't it?
Yeah, in terms of mature content, Deadpool's it covers everything that rated R covers, whereas Logan is very specifically the violence, and it is a very brutal violence, and it fits the story. But Deadpool is, like you said, it's all over the place, and you can't really point at any one thing in it. It's just like, no, it's rated R from the beginning all the way to the end, every single tiny bit of it.
Yeah.
That said,
yeah, it's such a big drop onto, and I think not really kind of giving it chance to get a lot of attention. Obviously, as you'd expect, the PTC put out a statement saying of how they're criticizing Disney for their putting on there and the brand and all the rest of it, which I get where they're coming from in some respects, but in the world of Netflix, Amazon, HBO, Peacock, Disney Plus can't be a babysitting service. And it's also very restrictive as well with the idea of like the rest of the world has Disney Plus as this one platform with everything, and then in the US it's like no, we have to keep it just for children. It just was not, and Disney's a very different company. It's always that kind of weird thing as well of like Disney was always good at hiding that it was making content for adults that you didn't realize they were. With the days of Miramax, Touchstone, ESPN, ABC, just no one realized they were under the Disney banner. It's only really now that they like pushing, and I think once they brought 20th Century Fox, that was them going, we need to focus more on this market because we're being left behind. Because that's, to me, the big why they wanted 20th Century was they wanted to really like state a claim into having more mature content.
Well, they wanted the catalog and the IPs, a lot of which are mature, like Predators and Aliens and things like that. So that was obviously a big thing. I know as a kid, I remember going to Hollywood Studios and going on the backlot tour that they had back then, and it opened with, and here we are on the set of Pearl Harbor. I'm like, why is Pearl Harbor in Disney? And then you go back, of course, like, oh yeah, that was them. They just don't have the Disney name on it.
It was like in Paris, they had an Armageddon attraction,
right?
Exactly. and you'd go around on the trail on this like thing, and you see like was it Reign of Dragons? It'd be a set for that, and it was always that kind of weird thing, like you said, of it. Disney was they kept their brand separate, and of course, essentially like a pre-internet world, it worked better. They got away with it. Of course, once everything came together. And they've, their branding and stuff's got much stronger.
I want to say Reign of Dragons was Universal because I seem to remember doing that on the Universal backlog, but I could be misremembering.
It could. Depends. Or
Reign of Fire. Sorry.
Yeah, Reign of Fire. So I'm just trying to think because it might have been. It depends if it got filmed. No, it's a Touchstone Pictures film. It is a Disney film. I really enjoyed that film.
Yeah, I could have sworn that I saw that on the backlit tour at Universal in Los Angeles. But either way, that's not the point.
I think it was that World of World. I know when I did the backlot tour in Universal, it was War of the Worlds was one of them.
Well, yeah, there were several because
Yeah.
they also had like coming out of the motel and the slasher was going to come and cut you, things like that. Anyway, not the point. The point being, Disney has a large history, a very large catalog of much more mature movies than just the princesses singing and the stuff that we grew up with, like Bambi and Robin Hood and so on. And they, as you said, they've done a very good job of hiding that over the years, and they can't do it anymore on Disney Plus because they have to chase what the majority of the audience wants, right? And there will always be a segment of the audience is like, no, this is just for kids. I want to be able to put on Mickey's Funhouse and then just not worry about my kid for the next 4 hours while I'm working and things like that. Mm-hmm. But the majority of people have spoken. They have the numbers. People are subscribing for the more mature content, and it is the adults who are driving what is being watched rather than the kids. Yes, Mickey's Racers is always in the top 10, but so is The Simpsons.
Mm. Well, also as well is I feel like the international market has really opened the stats up so they can see what's happening because, like for example, I'll bring it up here for us here, so you ones on the video can see it. But when you look here at the trending tab, like on the international version, what we've got here in the UK, and you can see here how it will work. If you want to go onto the kids account, you can lock it up and you don't get to see all this stuff. But the trending here, you got Family Guy is constantly trending. Grey's Anatomy, The Simpsons, Modern Family, and Bluey. We have all of these shows in there, all interconnected and stuff, and it is just how it works, and it works great, and it's having a lot of success. And the release of Deadpool was, I think that was a milestone moment. I think this is the case of if you can put that on there, don't give me any more excuses now about violence, swearing, sex. That's got all of that in there. This is that water moment of going right. From this point on, we can move forward. And I am getting even closer to that idea of like when they announce this ad-supported tier, that is when the floodgates are really going to open, and when they can go, we might put the price up $1 or $2 a month, but we're going to give you all of this, and then we'll start seeing that floodgate really open up once they can get those extra few bucks out of you, but also more importantly get extra bucks out of people on the ads tier, because especially with TV shows like Family Guy and Grey's Anatomy, etc., that's where they can make some real money on those TV shows.
Yeah, and we saw it happen with you guys too. When Star came over to Disney Plus, they raised the price, but like, we're adding 700 items for you to watch. You're getting your value's worth. It will probably be very similar here. A large part of the catalog will get bolstered. Some of it will be adult, but there'll also be more kid-friendly stuff too. It's just coming from a different part of the library.
Yeah, it just feels like now they've been like playing with the Marvel side. The Marvel feels like and even the advertising campaign that they're running now, this whole kind of like, there's something different or something special on it, and like, oh, you wouldn't expect that. It's like, this is all mind, they're using the Jedi mind trick, like, you will get used to it. Just doing it nice and slowly, because they're not doing the same advertising campaign. They're kind of getting you warmed up on it.
Yeah, and Deadpool and Logan are definitely going to get people more primed for it and ready to go with it, because regardless of whether people have qualms about having this content on there, I expect that we're going to see those films do really well over the next couple of weeks, mostly for the novelty factor, but also they're good films. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is really good.
The Deadpool ones are a lot of fun. Logan, not so much, but it's good for other reasons.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big one. Also, let's shift and carry on with the Marvel theme. So they had the animation panel last night at the San Diego Comic-Con, and we got some new details on some of the new shows and stuff that are heading our way. So obviously we did I Am Groot, so we know that's coming on August the 10th. Has been confirmed there's going to be 5 more shorts, so there will be a second season. Spider-Man Freshman Year is going to be coming in 2024. So this was announced at Disney. All these were announced on Disney Plus Day last year. So we're getting in this new series. It's kind of like 1960s comic book style, with the graphics and stuff. It's going to have lots of villains in there. Dr. Octopus. There's going to be a whole host of different characters in there as well, including Norman Osborn is going to be like a mentor to Peter. It was just really thrown out, and he's got like a whole load of suits because it's supposed to happen before Civil War, but it's almost like feeling like it might be a multiverse at this point because it's starting to drift. He's gonna, like, how can he have a Future Foundation suit before I don't know. It's all looking a little bit odd, but this one's a couple of years away, so hopefully it'll make a little bit more sense when it arrives. It's also been confirmed there will be a second season called Spider-Man Sophomore Year. And like I did say in the video today, I know, like in the US, but sophomore and freshman don't have any meaning outside of the US. I'm like, what? I actually don't know what sophomore year is. So what is it? Is it second? Is it second year?
It's the second year. So it goes freshman, sophomore, junior, senior is the high school.
Yeah, we just use numbers here. That's 8th, 9th,
Right.
Yes. So I was just like,
I mean, you can do that too. You can go on I'm in 10th grade, I'm in 11th grade, and people will know what you're talking about. They'll automatically go 11th grade. That's your junior year. But yes, the thing is, you're always going to get something like this. They could also do it in a style that a person from France would recognize. Or this is our system, and us over in America, and you in the UK be like, these words mean nothing. I know the words are English, even though it's in France, but what? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like I said, freshman year I was like, okay, that's like the first year. Sophomore was like, what is that? I was like, So this, and again, that is the issue that can happen sometimes. It's like Homecoming and all the rest of it. We don't have any of that, but I mean, they didn't change the name for any of this. We're also getting season 2 of What If. It's going to be coming in early 2023. So we've got a little bit longer to wait. More episodes. There will be a story where Captain Carter meets the Winter Soldier. There's going to be an episode with like Odin and the Mandarin, so that's going to be an interesting combination. Hela from Thor Ragnarok. This is an episode with her in. Also, like a version of Thor Ragnarok where it's actually Tony that goes to Scar rather than Thor. So he's going to be there with like that should be a little bit interesting. It's also been confirmed a 3rd season has been greenlit, and so there's going to be more What If. But yeah, so that one looks to be a little bit fun. Also, it was revealed that the Captain Carter in the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness is not the same one as in What If. She's from another multiverse.
Given what happened in Doctor Strange, that's not really a surprise.
But yeah, so just confirmations. Yeah, so more What If, which I'm looking forward to. I think this is a smart move to kind of keep expanding, because this feels like a show that will never end.
Well, that was the thing with the comics. It never ended. And even after that particular series ends, they normally dust it off a couple of years later. They did try rebranding it as the Exiles for a couple of years, but that was basically just a couple of X-Men character hopping through multi-dimensions. And what if Doctor Doom opened a coffee shop, or things like that? They started to really reach by the end of it. And
I bet he makes
careful they don't do it here too.
Yeah, so. I bet he makes a good panini.
Actually, I could see that.
There's Iron Press. So more What If. Also, there is a spin-off series, Marvel Zombies, which has been confirmed to be a spin-off of What If. This one is going to be MA, so it's going to be mature audiences, so they're up in the age range on this one. So there'll be plenty of gore and guts and blood and stuff in this series. Don't know when that one's coming, so that one might be a while off. They didn't give a date, so it could be 2025. It could be even, we don't know when that will drop. There's a team of superheroes. So you've got like Yena, Hawkeye. You've also got Shang-Chi. There's Red Guardian, and I think it might be Miss Marvel or someone. So there's a team there. They're like the humans, and then obviously you've got other superheroes are villains, including Captain America, Captain Marvel, the Abomination. So there's going to be a lot of fun with that. That was my favorite episode of What If, so I'm looking forward to this series a lot.
Yeah, and I think it was one of my least favorite episodes of What If, but a lot of people do it. It's been a very popular franchise within Marvel for decades now. this is a no-brainer, pun
Yeah.
intended.
Yeah,
It
and
makes sense for them to do this.
And I'm glad they are leaning in on the MA stuff. I feel like, making it
Mhm.
mature is what this. You can't do zombies eating brains and like killing people softly for too long. You can do it. You can get
Right.
away with it for an episode, but not a whole season. You need to be able to do it. I've recently started playing Days Gone on the PlayStation because I got the PlayStation Plus when it like relaunched, and so I've been going around shooting and smashing up zombies with axes and stuff, waiting for the new season of Walking Dead. So that one's looking pretty good. Also, XMen 97 will be dropping onto Disney Plus on fall 2023, so pretty much over a year to go. This is a continuation of the 1990s series. Magneto's taken over the X-Men as Professor X has headed off into space to be healed. And have a load of characters in here that we've seen. Cable, you're going to have Nightcrawler, whole host of stuff. It's also been confirmed a second season has been greenlit already. This kind of gets everyone quite surprised. They're going, they're greenlighting stuff that they've not even released yet. It's like, that's because they know this is going to hit. So they're really going to lean in. I'm really looking. This is, again, like for me, X-Men was like, this was Marvel when I was a teenager. This was the best of Marvel, and this series just introduced me to this character. It does feel like Kevin Feige's got the same love for this series because he seems to we've already had 2 callbacks in the movies and the series, so they seem to really like this series, and this is the basics of what they want to go off of.
Yeah, this was a fantastic series to grow up with. This and the Spider-Man series that was coming out at the same time, and to jump ships, you also had the Batman animated series, which is like probably still the best superhero.
That that was just a period. I was like 14, 15 when this came out, and it was like perfect. I used to set my VCR on timer to come on to record like breakfast TV on Saturday mornings because I'd be like on the ice cream van selling for my Saturday job. But I would record the whole show, just fast forward to get through to watch it all. So so the days before, you don't even know what it's like now. Oh, just fire it up. No, sit through. When they'd say it'll be on at 10:50, it's like no, it didn't start to like an hour later because they were yapping or something. Yeah.
Those are very heavily nostalgic days for I think a lot of us getting up on Saturday morning, and there was the X-Men and there was Spider-Man and there was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and all sorts of fun things like that. And don't want to glorify it too much because there was plenty going on at the time too. But I will never forget watching X-Men and they cut away for a briefing for Operation Desert Storm or whatever it was, and I was just, my little like 8-year-old me was just furious at that they were interrupting my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and X-Men and things.
Yes, not good, but no, it's definitely. I'm really liking the idea that this one's turning back. So I think on the Marvel side of things, we're doing pretty good now. So we know we've got What If next year, X-Men at the end of next year. Moving into the year after, we've got Spider-Man, and then we know we've got more of everything. This is basically, I would imagine, the next 3 to 4 years of animation probably set now with these shows.
I'm sure they'll be adding to it as well, but at the very least, we have definite touchstone points throughout the next several years. We can go, all right, this one just finished up. Time for us to wait for that one, and so on. And it's nice to have this roadmap.
Well, I think I'm hoping we get a better, a clearer roadmap, either later at the Marvel Studios panel or by D23 we get a proper. But I think it's starting to come together a bit more of how this is all connecting out. So lots of stuff there coming out of San Diego Comic-Con. We also got to see a small clip and a behind-the-scenes look of the new National Treasure Edge of History series, which is going to be coming later. I'm thinking this might be a fall or a winter series because they're coming soon, and with posters and video stuff, I feel like this might not be that far off. What did you think of the sneak peek?
I didn't actually watch the sneak peek. I kind of want to go into this blind. It was an intentional choice. It wasn't I missed it or anything like that. I don't have quite as much affection for the movies as you do. We all know you love those movies, but
it's American history. That's how I learned what the Declaration of Independence was.
Yes, it's a shield that you use to block bullets with, quite literally in that movie. But I am looking forward to this. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's the kind of brand they need that is not Disney, not Marvel, that they can use to prop up Disney Plus with. No, look, we have other things that are not Star Wars and that are good quality and recognizable names. So I'm looking forward.
So they've got Harvey Keitel's coming back to do probably like a cameo. So they were asked about Nick Cage and they said, "Oh, he's really busy." I think they're going to do this at D23. I think they're going to bring him out and be like, "He's in an episode." I think they're going to do it. I think he'll appear in anything if you pay him. So I can't see a reason why he wouldn't be back for this. But yeah, D23, Disney branded. That's where I'm expecting Nick Cage to be kind of revealed. I don't think he's going to be in all of it. I just feel like they're going to bring him in for something.
I could see him doing a cameo or at least like video flashbacks of them explaining what he did in the movies with new films and things like that. Yes, I think, as you said, Nick will do literally anything if you put money on him. He's one of those actors. That's not an insult, by the way. He's one of those actors who just like every project has something for me to learn from. I will accept literally everything if my schedule allows it. Christopher Walken's another one who does that.
Right. Now, before we go into any of the reviews, just a quick thank you to all of our Patreon and YouTube channel members. So they help support the channel. You can do some from as little as $2 a month. So we've got Manmoud, we've got Raphael, Adam, Dana, Ricky, Dave, My VCS Still Works, Bina, Joshua, Dawn, Martin, Jeremy, and Sarah. Thank you so much for your support on YouTube and on Patreon. Big hello and thank you to Paul, Daniel, Elliot. We've also got Aero, Caleb, Red Marsman, Cody, Chris, Jacob, Darren, Lauren, the Juice. We've also got Andrew, and a huge thank you to Sarah for your support. Quick note, there will be a live stream this coming Sunday. Just a quick note, it will be an hour earlier than normal. Due to just life. So I'll be doing it. I'll probably do a little bit longer, but also with all the hopefully with a lot of Marvel stuff to talk about tomorrow anyway. So keep an eye out for that. Right, let's now talk about some of the new content that got released this week. So there wasn't any major new Disney Plus original this week. It was a bit of a lighter week. I did watch the first 2 episodes of High School Musical, the series. This is now set in like a summer camp. And so they all go off and they're going to be basically putting on a performance of Frozen, but it's going to be recorded for a documentary that will be airing on Disney Plus. They're going full on, so yeah, there's a whole like better versus better. So it's all going into, so there's a few of the characters have been trimmed off. They reference them and I think they come in later on, but so there's just a few of them that go off to this camp. Much more now about, it's no longer about, was it Gina Regago? She's gone off. She's going off to do a separate story with her mum's, which basically means they can put her in just for a few minutes here and there. So she's not a major part of it. Lots of stuff. I know a lot of fans of the series are really excited about where this series will go. I really enjoy it. My guilty pleasure for this summer will be this show. I'll be watching it every week. It's stupid, it's daft, but I like it. And it felt like it got back to, I watched those 2 episodes and then I was like, oh, I would like to, I could probably binge through the lot if they gave it to me. I probably would have watched them all, but because it's easy television, it's fun, the characters are fun, there's lots of music, and they're doing songs from Camp Rock and Frozen and other bits and pieces, and it's just fun. And it was that thing of, it felt like it got back to its core a bit, and I think taking it into a new location, trimming down the characters, introducing some new ones, but also they plan for COVID restrictions, and therefore the show is better because there's a lot of outdoor stuff. You kind of very easily notice it, but it's actually on the lines of it's working. It means the story's better. They're flowing. It wasn't like the last one where everything just kind of the gears changed and they didn't know what to do. This one's, you wouldn't notice it unless you were looking for it. That's the key thing.
Right. And there was a period where pretty much every television show, so not just High School Musical, but pretty much anything you were watching that was coming out new would be like, oh, all the characters are suspiciously standing far apart. And look, there's no extras in these scenes at all. It's just the core cast. And, it was very much them trying to adapt stories that had already been written into that particular environment. But we are now at the point where the stories are written with the restrictions in mind. We've said that plenty of times now. So yeah. Expecting much better things. Obviously, season 2, I only made it like an episode or 2 in before it was just, I have very much tried to be understanding of shows, but at the same time, if it's not good, then it's not good, even if I understand it's not really their fault.
No.
As I said earlier in this episode, I will check out season 3, but mostly because there's nothing else major coming out when it launches.
Yeah, it's because we got an episode next week. I'm trying to think what else we got. We got Under the Banner of Heaven comes out here in the UK next week.
Right, but that's already done here.
Yeah, Prey is the week after, isn't it? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm just trying to think. Yeah, we got a little bit of a lull between the series right now, which I think is actually a good thing. I don't think it's bad, especially with the Marvel and Star Wars, to give us a break, because we're going to have a lot going into the fall. I think we're going to be having multiple shows.
I am very excited for Andor, and I'm happy to have a little bit of a quiet time before that.
Yes, it gives us a chance to catch up on some other shows. We've got Only Murders in the Building, so that dropped on Hulu and Disney Plus around the world on Tuesday. The show just continues just that thing of just like, it's so easy, isn't it? Just easy, an easy show to watch.
It is. The chemistry between the 3 main characters is just so much fun, and then this growing cast of secondary characters is really well done. Having said that, and I know I've said that a lot this episode, but having said that, this was not one of my favorite episodes. No. I think it was more the kind of cringy Martin Short doing the murder mystery Son of Sam thing, where it's kind of like, especially when he goes after Kara and trying to get her to admit that she's the murderer. I'm just like, this is going on way too long, and I'm really uncomfortable, and I want to skip past this, which I'm sure was at least mostly intentional. You're supposed to be sitting there going, oh, please stop, just stop doing this. But it was really hard for me to sit through that scene.
Yeah, it's going to be, because obviously there was a big thing at the end of the episode of, it's like, oh, he really wasn't paying attention of what was going on. But yeah, so a good episode. We also had a new episode of the Orville. Watched that one this morning. I'm not gonna lie, I lost the Sky remote for a day. I couldn't fucking. I was just like, I can't. It's like I want to put it on, but I'm not. And I'm like, yeah. So yeah, it's bad when it's gone that far down the sofa. I ordered a new one, and then my wife managed to find it, and then I was like, cancel the order before it comes dispatched, because I was just like, I spent an hour trying to find it because my wife finds it in like 2 minutes. So watched it this morning. It kind of felt like this was to wrap up that entire story that's been going on for a couple of seasons now, the whole thing with the Mucklins and with the daughter, and kind of, it kind of feels like we're building up for this big finale coming up in an episode or 2 time, because I think we've got 3 more episodes.
I'm not sure how long this season is.
I think it's 11. I think it's 11. So I think we've got a few more episodes to go, but it feels like we're building up to the idea that they'll come in probably at the end and help. They'll need to be helped out or something like that. But yeah, no, I wasn't saying it was the best episode of the series, but it kind of nicely wrapped everything up.
It wrapped up that particular storyline, the one with Bortus's daughter and her acceptance into Mocklin Society, or not acceptance into Mocklin Society as it was, and just kind of wrapping all that up. And they've been towing around this, we have to keep the Mocklins happy because they supply us with the weapons, and if without them, the Kaylon are going to probably destroy us all. And then they're just going, you know what? This is too much, you guys. We are not compatible with this belief system that you have of women are inherently like not even inferior, just like get rid of all of them. And
well, that's it. They just don't. They don't exist. They don't need them. It's very, very powerful episode in some ways. Very much reflective of a mirror of what's going on in the world right now. Again, no humor. This is straight up. Some of the special effects looked a little bit ropey when they were trying to leave. I mean, it was quite. In fact, I'm doing a Star Wars scene through the bridge was a little bit funky, but I thought this one was a fun one.
It's a good episode. It's been an important storyline, but I am kind of glad to put this one behind it. It's been a focus for 3 seasons, and I'm ready for them to tackle something else now. So the last couple episodes will probably lead up to them getting into like the final major battle with the Kaylons. And as you said, something will happen. Maybe it'll be the Mocklins. Maybe it'll be something else. Maybe it'll be from last episode or 2 episodes ago where they'll turn on the emotion chip in all of the Kaylons somehow, and they'll realize, oh, this is actually really bad. We shouldn't be wiping out all life. Something like that.
Yeah, that might be a way of them kind of doing that. I think that they've set that up, haven't they?
They have.
Now you mention it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's
that. When I was watching that particular episode, I was like, this is them setting up the plot point. Now,
Yeah.
it might also be a red herring. It might be that's the direction they go, and then they have to find something else because it doesn't work. Because remember, for Isaac, it only stayed on for a little while, and then it fried out because he was part of the second line or the third line. Anyway, we'll wait and see what they're doing with that. Handful of episodes left. The humor is mostly gone, but this is still a really good series. If you are a sci-fi Star Trek fan and you've been sitting on this, well, at this point, just wait for season 3 to finish and then just start from the beginning and go all the way through. But this is really good.
Yeah, and also a show which comes out on Friday next week or Wednesday. I think it might be Wednesday. Light and Magic, a brand new documentary series all about industrial light and magic. So I have managed to watch the entire series. I put it as 6 episodes. They are all an hour apiece, so they aren't short. The first episode is more about getting the team together. And this was back in the 70s before they made Star Wars. And in all honesty, they didn't know what they were doing. And they will say that. They were making it up as they were going along. They were a ragtag group that the technology didn't exist. They were making it up as they were going along. The second episode was more more Star Wars based of how they did it. And then episode 3 was how they did Empire, where they had the pressure. Because they felt much more pressure for that second one. Because they were like, well, you've done it now. You have to keep it. They're like, yeah, but we don't really know how we did it. And then from there, it starts to glide them more into into the company through the working on Return of the Jedi, the Indiana Jones films, and then kind of stretching out and working on other films. I'll be honest, there's really very much, if you're a fan of the original Star Wars films, the first few episodes are fantastic. There's some real detailed accounts. You got interviews there with James Cameron, Steven Spielberg. You've got a load of people that were involved in it. You really learn a lot. I really enjoyed that on there. There's a lot of discussion about the stuff that they did in the 80s and in the early 90s when they moved into CGI and Terminator 2 and all of this area. However, and then they kind of move into a little bit of the Phantom Menace of a real shift in their technology. But I'll be honest, it was I got to the end of the series yeah, guy, you have done something in the last 20 years. It would be, they kind of touch on it quickly. It's okay, is that season 2? You're going to do the second half? It was a little bit there's a big difference between Terminator 2 and The Mandalorian. There's a little bit of technical difference in between that. But if you are interested in how they made films and special effects, this is a must watch. It's serious. There's no they're not messing about with humor or anything like that. You see all the sets, it just looks fantastic. You really get to learn how they made those original Star Wars films and why they've held up and how they basically just changed the industry. Because before that, it just wasn't around. They were basically making commercials. That was all there was. But yeah, so if you like behind the scenes, you got to watch it.
Yeah, this is already on my list, so I was going to watch it anyway. But I'm very excited for this, and I love hearing them talk about the original Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back in particular, because we look back at them now and oh yeah, the special effects, they look a little dated. You can see maybe where they did some cutting and pasting for the TIE fighter and things like that. But back then it was revolutionary. And I know one story where they were talking oh, you want to do Buck Rogers where you can see the strings, and then no, I want to not see the strings.
Well, it's little stories of how they did Hoth was such a problem for them because it was white. They couldn't hide stuff as easily. The map, they would have you wouldn't have seen it in the first one, but everyone had a black outline around it. But of course, you didn't need to see it because it was in space. Because you put that on a white ice thing, and that was fine. Or even just doing the walker, how long it took them to do stop motion with those walkers, and the sets that they built and stuff. It is, it's kind of fun as well. In some ways, Star Wars got saved because of that shot of when the pod gets ejected from was it the Yannon? Is it the Yannon? Of one of the very first ship, when in the opening scene of Star Wars, when they shoot the droids out so they go down to Tatooine. That whole shot that they filmed of how they did it, and they explain how they do it all. that was what saved the film, because when they took it to like the Fox, they were like, we need more, we're spending a lot of money, it's, we're doing a lot of stuff, but this is like what we've got so far. And they were like, they were amazed by it because they'd never seen anything like it. Of course, you look at it now, you don't even think about it. It's just like, but
it's a regular special effects shot. Anybody can do that shot because these guys created the techniques that even now are still used. The one that I remember is from Empire Strikes Back, again, back on Hoth. In the original version, it's been edited out now, but when you're in the snow speeders, there's a couple shots of them doing strafing runs and things like that. They're actually translucent. It's like a 99% grade, but you can actually see like through the structural supports, like the AT-ATs and things like that, because that was one of the tricks that they did to film against a white background.
Yeah, and also I think there was this whole thing of, I think that's why George went back and redid it for those re-releases, because he could see he was a perfectionist and he really struggled with some of the aspects of it. But I mean, he literally, like, if he went to the he went to hospital because he thought he was having a heart attack when they were making that film. That was how much stress he was under. If you're a fan of Star Wars, this is a must watch. If you just like, it's just a really very well made, very polished behind the scenes, and it's not fluff. It's not like a fluffy piece in some way, like behind the attraction. It's not like gimmick. It's like, no, this is much more serious, but it tells you a story. Very well done. Very well done. I can't recommend this one enough.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yes. So I think I know that. This is the thing of like, what's coming out? I don't know. I remembered. Oh no, that's coming out next week. But yeah, so there we go. So that is all of this week's news. So as I said, be sure to check us out over at What's On at Disney Plus to keep up with all your latest Disney Plus news. So we're going to have some more bits and pieces coming up from San Diego Comic-Con over the weekend. Obviously, with new videos and stuff going up throughout the week. So you might notice if you're on the YouTube channel, I have been doing more videos, but single story ones seems to be going down well, looking at the stats and stuff. So that's what I'll be carrying on with. So expect more updates throughout the week. And next week, episode 200. And I'll be honest, we aren't planning a big event or anything like that. We're not going to it's like episodes, because I had a few people go, what are you doing for episode 200? You know what they do. It's a shame that it didn't tie up with D23. That might have been a little bit different. But yeah, so we'll be back next week with another one. And on that note, guys, thank you very much. See you guys soon. Later. Thank you very much for watching this video. Make sure you go check us out over at whatsondisneyplus.com. Like, follow, and subscribe. Also, a huge thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon and also on our YouTube channel memberships. And I shall see you guys in another video. Laters.